Welcome back to another week of the Ohio Tech Report. And we have our favorite guest co-host, Tonjia Coverdale from Nationwide with us today. Tonjia, we kind of took a little bit of the kind of late August, early fall, since we had a bunch of stuff going on. So this is our first Ohio Tech Report in a few weeks, but we're so grateful and thankful that you are with us today. How have you been? How has the team at Nationwide been?
I've been fantastic, and thank you so much for having me again. I'm happy to get a chance to help you kick it off again. I've been fantastic. Nationwide is doing well, really honing in on our enterprise and local data strategies at the moment. So continuing to have lots of fun.
That's awesome. Well, let's dive into our first story because, as you know, we go through three stories on the Ohio Tech Report talking about big news that's happening in the Buckeye State. And this one, it's a natural for us kicking things back off with the Tech Report to share this news, is Honda is building a $3.5 billion EV battery plant in Ohio. It's coming to Washington Courthouse, which for anyone who's driven on I-71 from Cincinnati to Columbus or from Columbus to Cincinnati, it's in Washington Courthouse, which is about right in the middle. And this is a huge thing. And as we've talked about, Tonjia, the Silicon Heartland, it's things like this that are happening. And I'll also add, before turning it over to you, they are investing on top of the $3.5 billion, another $700 million into three of their existing Ohio plants so they can start making EVs and components. That's in Marysville, East Liberty, and Anna. That's another 327 jobs to their current over 8,000. So Ohio is literally building the future of transportation, which is so cool.
Chris, I think this is such a natural expansion of all the smart cities work that was going on here of just a few years ago, right? And Ohio, again, was right at the forefront, specifically Columbus, right at the forefront of launching that. But what I appreciate most about the Silicon Heartland and all the companies that are coming here to make large investments, like Intel, like Honda now, is that we're not concentrating this growth in the cities. Yep. So it's not that Columbus itself is growing or Cleveland itself or Cincinnati. We're providing opportunities for people in rural areas and giving them other income potential, which I think is really key to the Silicon Heartland. So it's truly the Silicon Heartland, not the Silicon City in the Heartland.
Well, I think you're absolutely, and I love that. And I've had conversations with a bunch of folks as this news happened it was this Tuesday. As we look at this Ohio momentum, you mentioned Intel. That's Licking County. That's kind of northeastern of Columbus. You have this, it's just kind of more southwestern, southern Ohio. Ford, which is investing big into their EV plant potential up in Lorain County, which is west of Cleveland. And so all of these things are happening. And then, of course, there's big companies like Nationwide doing incredible work in our cities. But so many of these things are popping up all across the state. And I love that the wealth is kind of getting spread for these tech opportunities and these future opportunities, which is so, so cool. And this is actually a great segue into our story number 2 for this week. And this is I love it because if we're talking about all these successes, what makes it possible? The people, and especially young people that we got to get into more tech careers and build that up. And so Forbes announced with the state of Ohio and Jobs Ohio that they are going to host their Under 30 Summit for 3 straight years in Ohio through 2025. Cleveland's going to be first, then it's going to Cincinnati, and then it's going to Columbus. And so this is a pretty big joint announcement between Ohio and Forbes, which is obviously a big publication read by people all over the country and beyond. But it's coming to Ohio for 3 straight years, and hopefully we'll get some young Buckeyes that we're going to be able to promote that are under 30 doing incredible work, which I know is a passion for you with younger professionals.
It is. And again, another illustration of One Ohio. I think Ohio probably does it best than any other state across the United States, where we are all inclusive in our innovation. It's not one corner, one half. We're showing here that, there's a lot going on in Cleveland. There's a lot going on in Cincinnati. There's a lot going on in Columbus. And I honestly feel that every time I come on here on Ohio Tech Report, we're talking about things across the entire state. So again, loving that we're getting some focus on opportunities statewide for our students and our young people and young professionals, and really growing that tech workforce from the ground up right here in Ohio. So we're leading in so many ways.
I love it. And I love that you mentioned kind of Cleveland is the first one that's going to be coming up with this Forbes thing, which is actually kind of a perfect segue into our third and final story. And this is FutureLAND. If folks haven't heard about it, this is the city of Cleveland, leaders in the Northeastern Ohio business and tech communities coming together on October 27th and October 28th. And what they have built is FutureLAND. It's a 2-day event. And as they say, it's not a moment, it's a movement. And so we're just under 2 weeks away. And it's an annual, so this is the first year, but it's going to be an annual multi-day conference celebrating the diversity in tech, arts, and culture in Northeastern Ohio. And so they're going to have industry leaders, panels, workshops to help businesses thrive and helping to highlight and promote underrepresented founders, entrepreneurs, and showcase Cleveland and Northeastern Ohio as an emerging tech hub. And so this is incredible. We'll link to the website, tag them. It's futurelandcle.com. I already have my hotel for it, and I love that Cleveland is making a play for this to showcase and promote the amazing diversity, again, in the culture and the arts and the tech that make it such a really cool city.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to check it out and get some space up there too. I love to attend, but what I really like about this one, Chris, is that it's an illustration of how over the years, tech is going from being a separate thing to being an undercurrent in all of our society. And when you have that marrying of tech with arts and culture, it really shows how all encompassing technology is. And why I really like that is that when you're talking about some of the lack of diversity in tech, traditionally it was because there was not a lot of access to educational opportunities or some sort of a perception that if you're going into tech, then you have to be a computer scientist and do straight coding, and that's not for me in so many different ways. So when you're putting tech into lifestyle, I think what we're seeing is an educational access and even a psychological access for people to say, oh, tech is music, tech is art, tech is graphic, tech. I can do tech. So I think we're going to start to see a lot of people realizing they are already techies and they're already doing technology. And so we'll have that self-imposed or even societally imposed bias that it can't be diverse because I don't see people like me, but you're already doing it. And I love that they're putting it right there on the forefront.
Yeah, I do too. And I think you're spot on where historically tech is, been thought of as like the IT function that's just one, but really tech, at least in it's innovation and it's the future of everything. And that you don't have to be that, you can be, of course, but you don't have to have that computer science degree. But anyone can have an opinion, a thought, a way to build whatever we have now better or create something that doesn't exist. And that's kind of what tech and innovation and all of this happens to be. So I love it, as you said, that they're kind of marrying arts and culture and just kind of the future of their specific city and their specific region. But I know there's other works happening across the state and other cities. This is just the next one coming up. I'll be there. Again, we'll tag FutureLAND Cleveland, and we'll also kind of put information in the comments for this show so people can check it out. If anyone happens to be up there, I'll be up there. Can't wait to join Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb, folks at Jumpstart, and all the folks putting it together. So it's going to be fascinating. I can't wait. It should be really cool. But Tonjia, those are our three stories. So we have Honda, we have Forbes under 30, we have FutureLAND, all new things coming to the state, happening in different pockets, happening all across the state. It's an exciting time for tech in Ohio. As a final kind of parting shot, anything you got for us with about 30 seconds to go?
I would say I'm blown away by these stories every week, every time I come, but it gets greater and greater, and I couldn't be any more prouder to be a Buckeye.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for our state. We're just building the Silicon Heartland, and it's so fun to see it all kind of being built up again in different parts of Ohio, which I think is the coolest thing. So, Tonjia, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for being back. I know you'll be back soon sometime. We appreciate everyone watching, and we will talk to you all soon. So have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.